Hello everyone, how you doing? I think I've told you before that at times I'm a little spacey. And that's today. Okay, that's not funny, right? Anyway, we've got a new version of the Daybell case. It's from News Channel 10 in Arizona, in Phoenix. They did a 1-hour special going through the facts and interviews. So I really like this better. It's about an hour. So, but would you please wait through the whole thing? Because at the end, there is a special for those that have lost their life to these two animals. So, as usual, leave some comments. I always love them. Bye-bye.
Vallow and Tylee Ryan were reported missing.
Tonight, a nationwide search for two missing children.
Their mother and stepfather are considered persons of interest.
In Idaho tonight, there could be a major break in the case of two missing children.
A search that captured the country's attention. Two children vanished, their mother offering no clues where they might be.
Lori, where are your kids? How come you're not telling anybody where your kids are?
Months go by, then a discovery we all feared.
Detectives and investigators have recovered what's believed to be human remains.
Now, as this once seemingly devoted mother sits behind bars, we tackle the big questions. Will Lori Vallow face charges in her children's deaths? Was her brother poisoned? Did she play a part in killing her ex-husband? Now, an in-depth look at a story full of twists and turns.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Morgan Lowe.
And I'm Kim Powell. Two missing children, family frantically searching for them, and a mother who won't answer any questions. Their case gripped the nation, many people wanting a simple answer. Where were JJ and Tylee?
This bizarre crime story reads like the script of a movie. A cult, missing children, dead spouses, and possibly murder. At the center of this case, teenager Tylee Ryan and her special needs brother, 7-year-old JJ Vallow. The story starts in a quiet Chandler neighborhood, a family fight, and shots fired.
911, where is your emergency?
July 11th, 2019.
You need police or paramedic?
Both.
Chandler police are responding to a 911 call.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense.
A man named Alex Cox says he just shot his brother-in-law.
Yeah, there's blood. He's not moving.
When police arrive on scene,
who else is in the house?
Alex comes out with his hands up and is told to sit on the curb.
I'm gonna have you have a seat right here.
Inside, Charles Vallow lies dead on the floor of the living room, a gunshot wound to the chest. Alex tells police it was a family fight.
There was a scuffle earlier with my sister and my niece.
He says he was staying at his sister Lori Vallow's rental home. 5 people were there that morning. Alex, Lori, Charles and Lori's adopted son, JJ, who's 7, and Lori's daughter, Tylee, who is 17.
An argument started between Lori and Charles. Alex, who is staying there, comes out of his room. Tylee comes out of the room. There's an argument with Tylee. Alex claims that Charles hit him in the head with a bat. Alex goes back into his room, gets a gun, comes out and says that Charles came at him, and he shoots Charles.
Chandler police say the initial indications are that the shooting was justified.
The evidence still points to
self-defense.
self-defense.
The evidence still points to self-defense in this case. That is correct, as far as the Chandler Police Department investigation goes.
But there is more to this story, and at this point, Chandler police are just scratching the surface.
Are your detectives aware that there might have been a money motive involved in this?
Not that I'm aware of. It's the first I'm hearing about it.
Maybe that there was a life insurance policy on Charles Vallow?
Nothing in our report, basically, from what I've read and what I've talked to detectives, has that information that I'm aware of.
After the shooting, Lori, Alex, Tylee, and JJ don't stick around Chandler much longer. They pack up and at the end of August, move to Rexburg, Idaho. Rexburg is a very small, tight-knit town. It's a community where everyone attends the same church. Everyone is connected in some way. It seems like the perfect place to start over. But something strange happens shortly after Alex, Lori, and her children arrive in town. After just 1 week, Tylee disappears. 2 weeks later, JJ vanishes. And in this new town, nobody seems to notice. Well, almost nobody. But we'll get to that in a moment. Meantime, Lori has a new love interest, a man named Chad Daybell. He is an author of what's called doomsday books, and he claims to be some sort of visionary, that he has seen and spoken to Jesus Christ about the second coming of Jesus Christ, and Lori kind of attracts to that. But there's one problem with Chad. He's married, until another strange thing happens. On October 19th, Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, passes away in her sleep.
There was a number of issues that just didn't look right.
2 weeks later, with Lori's husband out of the picture and Chad's wife gone, Chad and Lori are married, but their troubles are just beginning.
All we want is to know where those kids are. That's it.
Larry and Kay Woodcock had been trying to get a hold of Tylee and JJ for a month. They are JJ's biological grandparents, and Kay is Charles Vallow's sister. She was suspicious about what happened to Charles, and now they suspect something is wrong in Rexburg.
She was a good mama. She was a great mama. But about 2.5, 3 years ago, I saw a change in her. And I told Kay, I said, there's something going on.
And she became a monster, just a monster.
Do you wonder what changed and why she ended up doing what she did?
Why is the question on all of these issues about every aspect of this case. It's just so baffling. Yeah.
Rich Robertson is a private investigator who Kay and Larry hired to find the children. And as a result, he learned a lot about Lori and Chad and their bizarre behavior.
Would you categorize or characterize what they were doing as being cult-like?
I'm not sure I see this as a cult. It may have been a cult that was forming, but it wasn't a very big following. And unlike the kind of cult that people think of, most of the time they didn't have a compound, they didn't have a large group of people that were separating themselves from society and controlling their thoughts and beliefs. I mean, all these kinds of things that you typically think of when you think of a cult weren't quite there.
But for now, Rich Robertson's main focus is finding those kids.
So we started looking for the kids and didn't see them. And at that point is when Kay Woodcock contacted the Rexburg police and asked for a welfare check. And it was that welfare check that changed everything.
Lori, I'm Lieutenant Vallow, Police Department. How are you? You got a minute? So JJ will be where?
He's in Arizona.
Who's he with in Arizona?
He's with one of my friends in Arizona.
This is audio from that encounter.
We moved up here in September. My daughter to go to BYUI.
Your daughter goes to BYUI?
Yeah.
Does she live here?
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 detectives over here trying to...
Looking for you a little while ago.
Oh, because I was at the store.
And they ran into probably one of your brothers in
my
the back
brother
here.
and his friend, probably.
Oh,
They've
who's
been
that?
moving. Chad.
Chad from around here?
Mm-hmm.
Chad, the D-A-Y-B-E-L-O?
Mm-hmm.
Did his wife pass away recently?
3 statements, 3 lies. JJ is not in Arizona with a friend. Tylee is not attending BYU Idaho. Both kids have been missing for weeks. And Lori tells police Chad Daybell is her brother's friend. At this point, she's already married to him.
The whole thing blew up at the point when Lori Vallow lied to the Rexburg police that day.
But when the police returned to Lori's apartment, she's gone. At this point, Rexburg police go public about JJ and Tylee.
They're good kids. They don't deserve this.
But now, it's not just the kids who are missing. Lori and Chad have disappeared as well. And there's another surprise in store. Lori's brother Alex Cox, the last remaining witness who may be able to shed light on Charles Vallow's death and the missing kids.
What is your emergency?
I have a
older male here named Alex. He just passed out here on my bathroom.
Alex abruptly collapses at his home in Gilbert and dies in December.
Alex has always been this kind of mystery to me. My overarching question on all of this is why? And why Alex? Why was Alex so involved in protecting Lori to the extent he did, to the point of committing crimes?
We have 2 missing children and a growing number of dead adults, all of them tied to Lori Vallow. Now she and her new husband have split town.
Coming up next, authorities catch up to the newlyweds on an island paradise where they're living like teenagers on the run. And we put a microscope on Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox. Is he the family hitman? And was he himself murdered? The answers when we come back.
You're watching an Arizona's Family Special, True Crime Arizona, the Lori Vallow case. You're watching an Arizona's Family Special, True Crime Arizona, the Lori Vallow case.
Lori Vallow's 2 children have disappeared. Now she and her new husband have also vanished.
But in this day and age, it's hard to stay out of sight for long, and the press, the police, and the growing public obsession catch up with them. The beautiful, relaxing beaches of Hawaii. They have attracted visitors for literally thousands of years. And in December of 2019, 2 of those visitors were Lori Vallow and her new husband, Chad Daybell. Lori and Chad just seem to be vacationing on a beach while everyone else is trying to find JJ and Tylee. And they're not answering any questions. The couple managed to stay off the radar for about a month, but then word gets out about who they are and nobody sees Tylee and JJ anywhere.
Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long?
We knocked on their door, they didn't answer, but we could tell that the lights were on in the condo. But by that point, the neighbors were telling us, yeah, we actually haven't seen them in a couple days now.
It's a totally bizarre story, and I just hope they find those children.
But time is running out.
We have a search warrant for you guys.
Police execute a search warrant looking for any evidence the kids are in Hawaii. Back in Rexburg, Kay and Larry Woodcock convince a judge to order Lori to produce the children, or at least prove they're okay.
Bring the kids. That's it. Bring them. That's all we need to know. I don't care to ask her anything.
Alive?
I don't care.
Show me they're alive.
Just it. That's it.
Show me they're alive.
And I remember seeing Larry the morning that the kids were supposed to show up.
Today is the day, y'all.
And Kay, a little bit more hard-headed, but still hopeful. And as the day goes on and we're kind of realizing, okay, she's not showing up.
She's not going to do anything unless she is absolutely forced to do it.
The more I got to know Kay and Larry, the more I could see their frustration growing and their hope dwindling.
This comes to a head at the end of February. Lori and Chad are in Hawaii and they're living like 2 teenagers on the run, enjoying every day at the beach. And then that comes to an end. Lori is taken into custody and put in jail in Hawaii because she failed to produce the kids as she was supposed to.
Yeah, she's aware of the charges.
Lori is held on $5 million bond and extradited back to Idaho to face charges of ignoring a court order and child abandonment.
Welcome back, Lori.
The day she arrives in Rexburg, she's in shackles, wearing a bulletproof vest.
I see the SUV with Lori coming toward me, and it just stops right in front of me.
Lori, where are your kids? How come you're not telling anybody where your kids are?
And she looked over at me, and then she just slowly looked away and covered her face.
Outside the courthouse, it's a circus. People make signs and t-shirts with messages of hope for JJ and Tylee.
We're just here for Tylee and JJ. We want to know where they're at, and we're hoping that they're alive and well.
Lori makes a brief appearance in court. Chad is in the public seating area. So are the Woodcocks. And then, nothing. 3 months go by with no breaks in the case. The kids are still missing. And then, on the morning of June 9th, 2020, investigators converge on Chad Daybell's property. We get this tip from local reporters up in Idaho that, hey, it's happening. Today's the day. And all we know is that they're in the backyard. And we start to learn that they're digging in the backyard by this fire pit.
They had reason to believe that one or both of the kids were buried in the backyard.
Once they removed some soil, there was a black, what I can best describe as a black plastic bag with a round object protruding through the dirt.
This is Detective Ray Hermosillo testifying about what he found buried in Daybell's backyard.
It was what appeared to be a small body tightly wrapped in black plastic, covered in duct tape.
The body is JJ, and his sister Tylee's remains are found buried close by. Chad is arrested, and the mystery of the missing kids comes to a tragic and sad end.
I don't know how they were killed. I mean, the law enforcement still hasn't released a manner of death, so you don't know exactly how cruel it was in the manner that they died. But the disposal of their bodies was certainly an attempt to hide the crime.
What was it that led investigators to Chad Daybell's backyard that day? That's where Alex Cox comes back into the picture. He died 7 months before, but has become the key to the case.
And it turns out that it was Alex's cell phone. There were no eyewitnesses, nobody talked. It was cell phone tracking technology.
Now, of all the witnesses who were on the scene when Charles Vallow was killed in Chandler, only Lori is left.
Now we know Alex Cox is more than just Lori's brother. He's also come to be known as the family hitman, accused of assaulting estranged relatives, and now he's linked to the deaths of Tylee and JJ.
And let's not forget, he also shot Charles Vallow. Well, Alex also died before he could ever answer to the law.
Sometimes I call people as Mrs. Doubtfire.
The baby lost.
So sorry to bother you, puppet, really.
Could the funny man in the family also be the family's executioner? JJ and Tylee were buried in shallow graves in Chad Daybell's backyard, with evidence of a desperate attempt to conceal what was left. Investigators were able to locate their bodies by using Alex's phone, which was pinging on a tower near Chad's home. All of the death investigations linked to Lori and Chad are also tied to Alex, who is also now dead. The timing of everything is peculiar, and it just makes you wonder what really happened and what were their goals.
What is your emergency?
I have a older male here named Alex. He just passed out here on my bathroom.
On December 12th, 2019, Alex dies in Gilbert. According to police reports, Alex's wife Zulema told investigators he hadn't been feeling well the last few days and went to Mexico to pick up prescriptions. Months go by before the autopsy results are released. The Maricopa County medical examiner determined he died of natural causes due to blood clots in his lungs.
There's different levels of toxicological screens and testing, and they did a basic one, which is totally appropriate in this case. You know, obviously it doesn't seem so now that there's maybe some extenuating circumstances around it.
Dr. Frank Lavecchio practices medical toxicology and forensics, but is not connected to this case. He says Alex's autopsy was extensive, but there could be things that were missed simply because they didn't know to look for it.
It's nearly impossible to kill somebody with a toxin or a drug, okay, and not get caught, okay? However, if you don't look for it, you're not going to find it.
Then comes the case of Tammy Daybell. She died in October 2019, while her husband of 29 years was spending time with Lori Vallow. The family declined an autopsy for the seemingly healthy mother of 5. and rushed to bury her in her hometown in Utah. The day before Alex died, her body was exhumed.
You could still learn a lot from someone who's exhumed.
Hair follicles and fingernails, among other specimens, can be very telling to investigators. Her autopsy results have not been made public.
I went through a lot of years of this kind of hard stuff, and I was going to murder him. I was going to kill him.
This recording of Lori speaking to a church group was released, prompting detectives to take another look at Joseph Ryan's death. He's Lori's third husband and Tylee's biological dad. He died in 2018 from what appeared to be a heart attack. His body wasn't found until several weeks later.
If you were going into this case, you have these three seemingly natural deaths. They all kind of sound similar in the fact that their heart just stopped. What would you look for?
Obviously, history is very important. You know, what meds were the patients on, but I think they probably are going to do an extensive drug screen, you know, the Cadillac of drug screens.
But those types of drug screens, Dr. Lavecchio says, cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's very hard to get away with murder. It's very hard to kill somebody with, you know, chemicals and drugs, etc. But there are many things that are missed from drug screens.
Gilbert police have since closed Alex's death investigation.
Coming up next, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell are not charged with the murders of Tylee and JJ.
Will that change? And could Lori end up back here in Arizona to face charges in the death of her former husband, Charles Vallow?
You're watching an Arizona's Family Special, True Crime Arizona, the Lori Vallow case. You're watching an Arizona's Family Special, True Crime Arizona, the Lori Vallow case.
Most of the attention in this case has been on the two missing children, Tylee and JJ, and rightfully so.
But the first serious charges against Lori Vallow may involve the death of her husband Charles here in Chandler.
It was originally investigated as a family fight turned shooting.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense.
Alex Cox admitted to shooting and killing his sister's husband, Charles Vallow. But remember this from earlier?
Are you aware of any motive that Lori Vallow might have had to want her husband dead?
In our police report, in our investigation, at this point, we are not aware of any motive.
Turns out Chandler PD did start looking into a motive. A money motive.
Months before Charles died, it was pretty clear that he was afraid for his life.
Charles had something valuable, a life insurance policy worth $1 million, something Lori later admitted to police she wanted.
My husband, who we were married for 15 years, switched his life insurance policy to her, right? To his sister, who got $1 million when he died. And we got nothing.
So Lori had a motive, means, and opportunity.
The struggle is going to be whether there's enough evidence to prove that Alex Cox didn't do this purely in self-defense.
Private investigator Rich Robertson says one big problem is there are no witnesses left to interview.
Of all the people that were there that day, Lori's the only one who's still alive.
Charles Vallow, Alex Cox, Tylee, and JJ, all dead now. But listen to what Kim learned from Chandler PD.
One of the detectives investigating Charles Vallow's death told me that this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. We have Lori where we want her. She's not getting out of jail, so we're going to take our time, cross all of our T's, dot all of our I's to make sure that we can charge her in Charles's death. It's been 7 months since the last big break in this case. That's when detectives discovered the bodies of Tylee and JJ.
What can we expect to happen next? Final thoughts from two reporters who have covered this case for more than a year.
You're watching an Arizona's Family Special, True Crime Arizona, the Lori Vallow case. You're watching an Arizona's Family Special, True Crime Arizona, the Lori Vallow case.
This case has a lot of characters and a lot of moving parts. Kim, you've covered all of the developments. What do we know about potential charges in the murder case of Tylee and JJ?
So the Idaho state prosecutor was actually heard on a recording telling Lori's sister that he plans to file conspiracy charges against Lori and Chad. So far, though, that hasn't happened yet.
Now, we've reported that Alex Cox died of natural causes, according to investigators. What about Tammy Daybell? That's Chad's previous wife.
Yeah, according to our affiliate in Idaho Falls, the Idaho Attorney General is looking at filing murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy charges against Lori and Chad as it relates to Tammy's death. Again, that hasn't happened yet either.
Thank you for joining us for this Arizona's Family True Crime Arizona Special, Lori Vallow.
Be sure to stick with us for the latest developments in this case.
Be a day when things change, and it won't be all that bad. I won't be there to block the rain, to give you the love that you once had. Don't forget about the good times we shared. Never let those eyes shed no tears. Don't be scared to go on living your life. Just because I'm not here, and the sun will still come up in the morning, still go back down at night, and the days may seem a little darker, but I promise they're just as bright. Close your eyes, breathe in, and you'll see that it's okay when tomorrow starts without me. Tell the kids that their daddy loved them. Tell them I did the best I can, and I know you'll take good care of them, 'cause with you they could not be in better hands. And when you call them to tell them the news, if it seems like they're feeling low, I'ma need you to stand real strong. Please make sure that they know that the sun will still come up in the morning, still go back down at night, and the days may seem a little darker, but I promise they're just as bright. Close your eyes, breathe in, and you'll see that it's okay when tomorrow starts without me. and the sun will still come up in the morning. Still go back down tonight, and the days may seem a little darker, but I promise they're just as bright. Close your eyes, breathe in, and you'll see that it's okay when tomorrow starts without me. When tomorrow starts without me.
Trouble mountains.